Season 46, war number 10, and we are up against GT40, and this time my team will be Lady D, Chee'ilth, and Absorbing Man. I will be taking Path 5 in Section 1, Path 4 in Section 2, Void, Sauron and Immortal Abomination mini-bosses, along with that Silk boss. And now, just as the title says, I've got no idea what I'm doing this war, but well, at the very least it'll make things interesting. Starting off this war, we have a Photon here on the ebb and flow knockdown and right back added nodes, and I was planning on using Lady D here, but for whatever reason I switched to Chee'ilth instead. Which does work if you play it properly, but since my Chee'ilth is unawakened, she's not the greatest Photon counter. Now, I was looking at my boosts here, and for whatever reason I decided to put on a regen boost, only to remember that the Petrifies on Photon would simply just reverse the healing. I switched it to an invulnerability boost. Now I have wasted a grey boost for no good reason. I'm going in with a champion I wasn't planning on using, and the invulnerability boost that I threw on has already been consumed, which is a fantastic way to start a war if you ask me. Now my damage output here is decent, and as long as I don't make any bigger mistakes I should be alright, but that said, I don't know what I'm doing, so yeah, I got clipped again. She's in her pure light form and she has a special ready, so I just hold my block and hope that she doesn't throw it, because if she did, I would not be able to dex it and I would be rooted on the spot. Now at this point I kinda have to fight under control at least a little bit better, so well, as I say, I go ahead and parried her and try to punish her while stunned. You can't do that due to the untouchable mechanic she has, so at the very least I had enough sense to actually throw in my striker to save myself, but again, I've got no idea what I'm doing. Now at this point I just gotta wait out this pure light form, try to bait a heavy so that I can punish with my heavy for a knockdown. He just didn't want to go for it, so a special will do the same. Now while the ebb and flow protection is down, I need to try to get in as much damage as possible, because I really don't want to be in this fight anymore. Everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong, except from me eating a full-on special while the pure light form is active. And if that happens, I'm as good as dead, so I am doing my absolute best here to not let that happen. Now here and there, whenever possible, I will try to go for any intercepts I can to get the taunt up for two reasons. Number one is the simple fact that it allows me a tiny safety net against specials. I can block them if absolutely necessary, but the main thing with the taunt is the power drain whenever the defender throws a special. Since that basically means I don't need to bait as many specials, it is quite a nice ability to have there to rely on. Now I didn't die to that Photon, but I very well could have, and it was just a disaster. Now this fight here is a Nick Fury on the ebb and flow knockdown and heavy hitter nodes, and I am taking the fight with Lady D, and she works pretty well for this, in my opinion at least. For one, she is able to bypass Nick Fury's second life if you time your second medium correctly. It's not the easiest thing to do in a war setting like this, but it is possible and I will try to do it. Other than that, since in the second life you can't stun him and you can't punish heavy attacks for openings, you are still able to punish the specials easily enough. Even if the special one is unblockable, Lady D will likely trigger her unstoppable, allowing her to essentially just eat the special and punish it anyways. Now here is my first mistake in this matchup, because once again, as noted in the previous matchup, I have no idea what I'm doing, and I mistimed the second medium and the special to follow up, and that caused Nick Fury to be able to block the special too. The special wasn't unblockable because I had just lost my ferocity a little bit earlier due to me blocking a hit, which was again a fantastic play by me. Either way, I am planning on trying to finish the matchup right here and now with a specialty followed up by a double medium, but Nick Fury was fast enough to throw his own special one, preventing me from actually skipping the second life with that heal block. And now, in the second life, I miss an intercept and I get full comboed with Nick Fury's, well, massive Fury buff. So I got beat up quite badly there. That's quite alright though, I didn't die to it, and even if he had finished the combo on a light ending hit for the big bleed, I would have been fine since Lady D is 90% resistant to bleed effects. Well, it would still hurt a little bit more than the medium did, but I wouldn't have died to it, so again, just a potion or two, nothing new there, but at this point I'm just playing horrible, and honestly I should have just taken a break right here and now, done a few duels, maybe, I don't know, done something else for a little bit and then went back in, but of course I didn't do that because I don't know what I'm doing. Now here we have a Terrax on the steady build up unblockable and special burst lockdown nodes, and I will be taking the fight with Absorbing Man, starting in the Magma form. And this fight is the only reason I brought in Absorbing Man for this war. Looking back, I could have used basically anyone who works for Terrax, but since I had an Absorbing Man, I figured he would probably be the strongest option. A single special 2 and a couple hits to follow up with, and the fight is already over in roughly 20 seconds. Nothing special to mention about that one. Absorbing Man just completely destroys Terrax on basically any node. And then next up here we have a Havok on the steady build up unblockable and painful retreat nodes, and I will be taking the fight with Lady D. She is immune to heal block effects, so the permanent heal block debuff here from the node will not apply from the start of the fight. However, she will also lose her willpower healing for the full duration of any heal block effect she would have gotten on her. That means I will not be healing from any of the power stings or the plasma debuffs in this fight. Now Lady D is an excellent option for Havok in general due to the permanent armor buff on her, making it so the plasma build-up, or rather the plasma detonation, will never do any damage. On top of that, Lady D also has her ability to completely shut down mutant opponents' unblockable and unstoppable abilities with that heal block debuff that she has. And that essentially means it doesn't matter if I get any plasma debuffs on myself, Havok here will not go unblockable so long as I can keep the heal block debuff up. And that essentially means Lady D is one of the strongest options for this matchup, and I'm pretty sure it shows. Havok here hasn't been able to do much throughout the whole fight, and so long as I don't eat a special by accident, he shouldn't be able to do anything either. Now I did accidentally block a hit of the special 1 here, and I lost my ferocity, but the fight is almost over, so losing some of my damage here is not really a problem. Just gotta get a few more hits in, throw a special 2, and there we go. Fight took a minute and a half, a little bit less than that, but it was pretty clean and quite a safe one as well. After the horrible start I had this war with those 2 absolutely awful fights, the previous 2 were pretty good, no real complaints there, so at this point I am feeling a bit more confident for my upcoming, more difficult fights. So here we have a Void on the Power Snack and 1 too many hits mini-boss node, and I will be taking the fight with Chee'ilth. And of course, due to me being horrible against that Photon, I had to go ahead and heal up, which once again costs a couple units, which does sting quite a bit, but you gotta do what you gotta do. It was my own mistake, so I can't really complain. Either way, the game plan here is to just do parry, medium, bait specials, or rather, just takes the specials whenever Void throws them, I am not gonna try to go for any intercepting or any of that. I'm just gonna be relying on my own ability to dex his specials while rooted, which is quite risky because a single missed dex can lead to death, but I'm pretty comfortable dexing them, so that's what I planned on doing. So far Void is just melting, and all the cleanses that Chee'ilth has and gets throughout the fight are keeping all the debuffs off of me, so Void isn't really dealing any of his intimidating presence damage either, making this fight quite safe to do with Chee'ilth, though it did get a little bit close due to the power snack node, and yeah, that special 3, it was uncomfortably close, but didn't have to deal with it this time around. And that said, the fight could be taken a little bit better by baiting and punishing his heavies with your heavy, for example. Next time I see the node or that matchup and I'm assigned the fight, that is just what I might do going forward. Now here we have yet another Sauron on the high energy diet and burden of might miniboss node, and I am taking the fight with Lady D. But my game plan here is slightly different than usual. Previously I have mainly relied on the heal bot debuff to shut down the regen as well as the unblockable effects, but this time I am also aiming to go for as many intercepts as possible to keep the taunt up. And the main reason for that is once again the power drain that I mentioned against the Photon fight. Since the opponent gets fully power drained whenever they use a special while that taunt is active, it means I don't have to deal with as many of them, which makes the fight, well, easier and safer to deal with. And that said, it's only safer if I can actually avoid the specials or even just block them, but for whatever reason I am missing my dexes here. Probably because I don't know what I'm doing. Here I ate the last hit of the special 1, which crit, it hurt quite a lot and I did get the degen from it, but luckily it wasn't too strong. And that said, it was still quite a scare, and honestly I have no idea why I'm eating these special ones. I am perfectly capable of fully dexing them, rooted or not rooted, but this time around I can't do it. I'm blocking hits of the special, I'm straight up eating hits of it, and I don't know why. Now, this following up the first fight of this war, I should just take the break like I said earlier, do some duels, just try to get my head back in the game, but I'm still not doing it, I'm just keeping on going. I have my boosts up, and apparently I'm probably just too stupid to realize that I should just take a breather, but we'll see how that ends up going for me with these last 2 fights of the war. Now here we have an Immortal Abomination on the Hazard Shift, Incinerate and Shock miniboss node along with the Aggression Prowess node, and I will be taking the fight with Chee'ilth. And here I'm just replacing the tech boosts with skill boosts, since I will also be taking the Silk boss with Chee'ilth as usual. Now the game plan here is to use an advanced power boost and then do parry mediums to get to my special 2 as soon as possible, land that intercept before baiting the special 1 for the taunt, then heavy into a special 2 here. The heavy causes the bleeds, the special 2 inflicts the tranquilize debuff, lowering the opponent's chance to trigger any debuffs on me. At this point I really don't need to worry about the Hazard Shift node or the poisons that Ibomb would normally inflict, and I can just hit him a few times and completely melt him with those bleeds. Now Ibomb is a Gamma defender, so Chee'ilth is boosted against him, and to be completely honest, all of those boosts, the advanced power boost, special 2s, all of that was unnecessary. Just a couple heavy counters and the fight would have been over just the same, but we are against GT40, I'm not sparing any boosts and I wanna be as safe as possible. That said, we have arrived at the final fight of this war, yet another Silk boss that I will be taking with Chee'ilth. And as usual, the game plan is the exact same, and so is any strategy that I may use. I just gotta bait special ones over and over with the taunt up, repeat until Silk drops, and that's about it. Whatever I do, I just need to make sure I block the specials instead of accidentally trying to dex. That is all there is to it, that's all I gotta do, repeat that, and yeah, Silk can't really do anything. Of course, one more thing I need to worry about is the auto evade, but as long as I can keep an eye on it and just check that it is on cooldown whenever I plan on using any specials, I should be good to go. No issues whatsoever. I know how to do this fight, I have taken it before a few times and I have dueled her so many times that this should be obvious by now, but no. I go for the special one bait, and for whatever reason, I try to dex the special. There was absolutely no reason to do that. I knew that, and I knew that if I tried to do it, I would mess it up, because I haven't practiced full dex enough to actually do it comfortably in war. Yet I did it anyway. At this point I'm just telling myself, don't do it again, just do what you usually do, just do it as you're supposed to do, and it's fine. I'll be just fine. But I do it again anyways. I was literally screaming at myself while doing the fight that don't dex, just block the specials. But yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, so I tried to dex it a second time, ate it, and I'm dead. And now we don't have backup for this boss, so I had to go ahead and revive, heal up, and go back in. Which is great, that's another couple hundred units down the drain. I have my own stupidity point in this, it is what it is. At this point I am feeling burnt out in Alliance War for the first time in my time playing MCOC, which is a little bit surprising, honestly. I didn't think that would ever happen to me, but it has, and I'm not really sure if it is war in general or just these tactics, but yeah, I'll just have to deal with it. Next season, if NewN is pushing, I will play as normally, I will do my job, but if we are not pushing, I won't complain either. Either way, I do like playing war, so even if I have bad seasons like this, it's not gonna make me stop playing it, and even if we are not pushing this season, I'm still not quite sure if we are or not. Either way, I will still keep posting these war videos just for the heck of it, and at the very least, if we are not pushing, it means that I get to try some new matchups, and I will not be boosting as heavily, so the matchups themselves will be a bit more interesting, hopefully. Anyways, going back to this fight here, this time around, I am actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing and blocking the special ones as well. As you can see, the block damage is quite painful, but I did have the special 3 ready to go to get some regeneration back, and yeah, looking back at the first attempt, I also should have saved my special 3 after the first special 1 that I ate. I could have saved myself with that, but yeah, we saw what happened. I just didn't know what I was doing, I messed up, and that's all there is to it. And I believe that is the death number 6 for this season, so yeah, that's just fantastic. As for the results, we did end up losing the war 6-11, so yeah, it wasn't even really that close, and that means my death really didn't make a difference, but it still feels bad, and overall this war it was horrible on my part. I definitely was not as prepared as I should have been, and I'm not really sure why either. Well, I can only hope that it doesn't continue going forward, otherwise this horrible season is just gonna get worse.